Welcome and greetings again, everyone. Thank you for attending our re-recording of our presentation for our FIA seed grant. We'd also like to thank the Future Information Alliance, as well as the Robert W. Deutsch Foundation for their support in our project, which is called Reimaging and Reimagining Choreometrics. Our group includes Kate Spanos, me, Drew Barker, Emma Sessions, Sargoon, Nepaul, Christina, Banalopoulou, and our faculty mentor, Karen Bradley. First things first, what is choreometrics? And I would like to follow up and ask, what are the imaginable possibilities of choreometrics? We have made a website that not only follows the structure of this same presentation, talking about the past, present, and future, but it defines choreometrics from the start. A scientific study and measurement of cross-cultural dance. Now, we worked in partnership with the Library of Congress, the American Folklife Center, as well as the Association for Cultural Equity. Our investigations led us to discoveries too numerous and too massive to mention here in their entirety. And so, for more information, please visit our website. It's multifaceted, I assure you. What I would like to do now is for you to see, for me to show you, an actual clip from the Choreometrics collection. Throughout the 70s and 80s, they made 4 educational short films that only used a fraction of the over 3,000 film elements that are housed at the Library of Congress. And so that is kind of what our possibility question is about. What can happen with those besides just having them on a shelf? But right now, I'd like to show you this clip.
A holy dancer from Ceylon leads us into the spinning universe of dance, where both beauty and variety at first seem endless and bewildering. For every spoken language, there's an accompanying language of movement, each one carrying messages from the heart of a society. To understand the role of dance in human history, we must somehow decode these varied patterns of body language, of silent communication.
And now I'd like to invite Christina up to chat about the past.
So, unless we take action now, what remains of human cultural variety will vanish. Those are the words of Alan Lomax. He was a prominent ethnomusicologist, and he wanted to capture music and dance from the whole world. No such archive existed. Ray Birtwistle, a prominent movement researcher, suggested that he should begin his studies with dance rather than music. Dance, he realized, is more directly connected to everyday work and social interactions of the body. Birtwistle also recommended Alan use Laban movement analysis, an applied system that maps human movement and is a recording system developed in the early to mid-20th century. In 1965, Alan hired Irmgard Bartenieff and Forestin Pollet, both movement analysts. For the next 8 years, they would write hundreds of letters and travel to distant parts of the world until they amassed over 3,000 films. They analyzed the films through long days of observation, discussion, and decision. The data was entered onto punch cards and fed into Columbia University's computer. Their coding concerned the levels at which the body signals cultural affiliation by means of body attitude or stance, body part use, shape the movement takes, dynamic qualities. Eventually, the work included films of representative non-dance movement, work patterns, and children's play. The film, Dance and Human History, was produced by UC Berkeley. Alan's dream was that the data from Performance Styles project would be at the heart of a global jukebox, so that musical, dance, and speech styles of whole cultures or regions of the world could be called up by the user. The film was critiqued by some for a lack of participant observation and that his interpretations were a bit too generalized. So I'm inviting Emma to talk about where we went and what we did.
Thank you, Christina. Because of this grant and the wonderful support of our partners, we were able to accomplish many things in the past 4 months. First, we were able to make a trip to the Library of Congress, where we met with Betsy Peterson, the director of the American Folklife Center, and with Todd Harvey, the curator of the Alan Lomax collection. Through these interviews, we began to understand the breadth, significance, and magnitude of the Choreometrics project. Also on this trip to the Library of Congress, we had the opportunity to visit the stacks, where the collection is being held, and see the collection firsthand. We were able to sift through the handwritten notation of Alan and his team, see the film strips, and the amazing photographs that documented their journey and inspired ours. Our team was also able to make 2 separate trips to New York. On the first, we interviewed Anna Lomax Wood, the director of the Association for Cultural Equity, and Alan Lomax's daughter. On the second, we interviewed Boristine Paulet, the last living member of the Choreometrics team. Those 2 interviews gave us a more authentic and rich understanding of Alan Lomax and the Choreometrics project. Our team was also able to develop a glossary of terms from an unpublished manuscript written by Alan Lomax in 1981. The terms come from the fields of ethnography, Laban movement analysis, and neuroscience, and are intended to accompany future video analysis. We are very excited that as a result of the attention this project is getting, Wesleyan University Press is intending to publish that manuscript. All of our work culminates in the wonderful website we were able to create at the hands of our teammate Kate, who has been studying abroad this semester. We would now like to share a clip with you from our trip to the Library of Congress and our first glimpse at the collection in its entirety.
So this is what's called a mag track. It's a 1-inch. The audio is on this, so the audio for the film, and it's deteriorating. I see some stuff I don't like, and if you put your nose up to it, you're going to smell vinegar probably. If you can't already smell, it's pretty strong in here. It's mainly Pete Seeger's film collection that stinks. It's over there on the other side. And,
What's the vinegar smell from?
It's the binder reacting to heat and humidity, and it creates acetic acid. But I can see this powder, the red powder that you're seeing, it's about shot, which is a damn shame. You know, it's only 30 years old.
So, as you can see, this is where our problem lies. These films are inaccessible, and we have not digitized them yet. This project led us to work closely with Anna Lomax Wood. She's the daughter of Alan Lomax himself and the director of Association for Cultural Equity. Because of her, we discovered something amazing just over a month ago, the Global Jukebox Song Tree. It is a digitized song collection. Now, it's still in beta format, so it's unlaunched, but here's a quick sneak peek of it. So as you can see, you can pick any region from the world, and then you can pick any culture within it and play a song. So, as you can see, it does not support Choreometrics for 2 reasons. 1, the clips aren't digitized yet, and 2, the technology hasn't been applied to the digitized clips yet. So this is our one possible extension to the jukebox. As you can see, we have added the comparing section so we can analyze videos from across time and across regions. Accessibility. This interface will be accessible to everyone and anyone around the world. Searchability. We will include tagging and meta tagging. For example, a certified movement analyst can look through these videos and tag when a dancer changes to quick time or strong weight. And repatriation. It is entirely possible to take these clips back to the cultures that may have lost their history. Also, allow people like me, immigrants who have traveled thousands of miles away from their country, to view dances of their home. Now, everything that you see here is entirely possible, and the technology is already out there. We have the New York Public Library who have embedded the comparability tool into their website. Also, searchability. Recently you may have heard the British Pathé digitized over 90,000 film clips. We can do the same for the 3,000 Choreometrics clips. And there are many companies out there that specialize in the 16mm film that the Choreometrics is primarily in, companies like Color Lab. And so the technology is already out there, accessible and tangible. We just need to apply it.
So, when this Choreometrics project first began in the 70s and 80s, they were funded by many different people, including the National Endowment for the Humanities, the National Institute of Health, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Ford Foundation, and the National Science Foundation. The price of digitization now for these film clips runs in the neighborhood of at least $1 million. We need to build a similar coalition of supporters to fund the digitization of this collection. And if we can do that, we will then have help over the final massive hurdle of digitization, which is that price of digitization. The future possibilities of Choreometrics is this. If this massive digitization initiative is funded, then we can see each other more clearly through dance. If the film elements can be digitized, then the global jukebox can be accessed and the dances made interactive and crowdsourced by scholars and those who dance them. If this 20th century project can be realized through 21st century technology, our century will better know human history through dance. Thank you.